Well, Growers Edge, I think, has made us more money by allowing me to survey the local bids that I'm in the area that I want to sell my grain. The local elevators and the ethanol plants know that this information is out there, so they've got to be competitive if they want to get the grain. You know, we've been able to maximize our return on our farm.
Good afternoon, welcome to GrainTV. My name's Cody Bills. Today is Thursday the 14th, and we had a sharp short covering rally here for wheat. Take a look at the grain trading platform, see where we closed off the day. Corn trading up 5 cents, soybeans unchanged on the day, and wheat trading up 32 1/4 cents in Chicago. Take a look at the daily chart here, just a rapid short covering rally here. You'll notice this 386, which was support here back in March and again in April, was resistance here really for the last month. Today we went through that price level, and when we went through that price level, it seemed like there was no turning back. Just a whole lot of buy orders followed by more buy orders. Take a look at the 5-minute chart. You'll notice that 386 price level is really where we started to take off from. Once we got past the highs of yesterday, following the WASDE report during the WASDE intraday highs, once we got past that, it really seemed to unravel and just a sharp rally here to the upside for wheat. When you look at fundamentally, did anything really change? I don't think a whole lot changed here. There is talk about possibly weather gearing up for some dry conditions there in Russia and Ukraine, potentially. But then again, that's all still speculative down the line here. So that's kind of a forecast of a possibility that there could be some continued dryness in those regions. But in general, when you look at the fundamentals here, there was no major shift in the marketplace, just a very significant short covering rally on the day. We did get export sales out early this morning, and this is not really a reason to rally. I mean, wheat did come in with with positive export sales of 115,000 metric tons. That was on the high side of analysts' expectations, and coming in on the heels of 2 weeks of cancellations. Last week we had 148,000 metric tons canceled. I mean, just 115,000 metric tons of sales isn't enough to rally this thing. So that certainly isn't the main reason why we moved higher here today. Soybeans came in with some nice sales again, 136,000 metric tons. That was not on the high side of analyst expectations, but really anything at this point in the marketing year I view as positive. And corn with 370,000 metric tons. You'll notice that was the big disappointment here. Really well below analyst expectations, well below last week, which we booked 841,000 metric tons. Let's take a look at where we are in terms of meeting USDA forecasts. You'll notice here corn is kind of moving this red line. These red lines on this histogram representing cumulative export sales here for corn. We've booked 41.5 million metric tons. We are behind last year's pace, but we are still ahead of the pace needed to meet USDA expectations. Keep in mind this factors in the adjustments that we saw yesterday in the WASDE report, and really the pace that we would expect to need to be at to meet USDA expectations is right around 40.6 million metric tons. So we are still ahead of that. That's positive here for corn. You got soybeans well ahead of pace, also well ahead of last year's pace. In general, we booked 49.5 million metric tons. What we need during this time of the year is 46.8. We continue to get good export sales here, so I'm not very concerned. We may even see the USDA revise that a little bit higher in the months to come. We'll have to see. And then, of course, wheat. We did know that export sales for wheat were revised lower here. This model takes into account that revision lower. You'll notice cumulatively we've booked 23.2 million metric tons versus this time last year, which was 31.6. So you can really see a sharp decline year over year in exports. And then you'll also notice that we are still ahead of pace to meet USDA expectations. You'll know that before we had that revision, we had fallen below the pace needed to meet expectations in the April report. But due to that revision that we saw in the May report, we are still on on pace to meet those expectations. So that is good to see, and it's good to see positive sales. Guys, if you have any questions about what we talked about today, please give the office a call. The number is 877-472-4607. Keep in mind also, just a thing to mention, Nebraska governor issued a state of emergency due to the bird flu. This kind of falls on the heels of Iowa doing it, Minnesota, Wisconsin, all issuing state of emergencies. It seems as though there was a positive instance of bird flu in Nebraska, and that's leading him to make that announcement. But guys, again, if you have any questions, give us a call. The number is 877-472-4607. Thanks a lot for tuning in. We'll see you here Friday for the weekly wrap-up.